What's up, guys? Welcome back to Can't Talk, I'm Creating, podcast by creatives for creatives. I'm here, Corey Hallam, director, creator. I'm also here with the usual co-host.
Steve Gronke, also director and creative. WaveChange, you heard. Change the wave.
Yeah, we're here today. For me, it's actually been one of the, not slower, but more organized weeks. This has been the first time, yesterday is the first time, I think, since I started making videos that my editing hard drive has no folders on it. I was telling you yesterday or 2 days ago that it's like, wow, it's the first time that.
Time for a passion project.
Yeah, dead ass. I mean, that's why I started last night. I started messing around with Unreal.
Oh, yeah,
So we can go into that. We could definitely talk about that because it's funny. I was talking to my brother because left the studio, went home, and I was talking to my brother, and I was like, yeah, it's the first time that I don't have like client projects. And he was like, well, how is it? And I was like, not great. It took me an hour of playing a video game to be like, well, I guess I'll learn Unreal and make a game. So I guess I'm not that good at not just having free time and not working on a project. But I think that's going to become my passion project, working on that.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, how's your week been? I know you had a pretty busy shooting week. Yeah, you were on the hardcore.
I'm trying to think because a lot of stuff got shifted. We were supposed to shoot White Boy this week. That got moved. I shot with Chico. I shot the oyster stuff. The oysters that I was supposed to shoot, the guy didn't send me the actual oysters. So I just had a bunch of shells.
So you had a bag of shells.
Yeah, just a bag of oyster shells and nothing to do with them. That was fun. What else? The green light shoot. I would love to talk about that. I mean, you were there for that.
Yeah,
we could talk about that day.
The 3 shoot, that was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah, the 3 shoot as well. I forgot. That was a cool shoot, too. He was cool. Good people.
Yeah, the green light, I think, was the big highlight of the past week.
Was that's only like 9 days ago. That's so
I want to say, that was pretty recent because you knocked that edit out pretty quick. But that was fun. But like the first bigger set that you've like coordinated,
that
right?
was the biggest set I've ever coordinated ever. That was the most people I've ever directed, the most anything. Like full production. Felt really good. That shit was exciting.
I mean, I watched you for like we were talking about it for like a month prior, like when Matrix and them slid through and we first started talking about it, and then you got the songs from them. I remember you talking about the idea and then plotting it since like a month prior to the shoot, but it shows when you have the idea and you actually like take the time, the pre-planning, the planning your shots out, shot listing, how the day of the shoot, even having that many people, ran so smoothly.
Yeah.
There was no confusion. You got all your shots, and then in the edit, you were able to crank the edit down in like 2 sittings, 3 sittings.
The color grade was maybe a 2-hour sitting, and then it was like a 5 to 6 hour sitting of just cutting it up, which was nice. That's like, especially in terms of like financials. Like I only shot that for 3 hours and then edited it for 8 hours. So like if you broke that up into how much you'd normally make for a music video, I mean, you're making really good money.
Yeah, I mean, that's the value of doing the pre-planning and knowing your shots before, which is rubbing off because right after that, when I was writing a Nick Wallace treatment, and I fully timestamped these scenes at this time, we're gonna do this stuff, and really, because that's what really showed me the benefit of it, not just the shoot going smooth, but how quick the edit was turned around. Because I'm used to taking the footage and then just kind of a day going through it and look at this, and then multiple days of just kind of figuring out what it's going to look like while going through the footage versus knowing what you want it to look like and shooting for that, and then being able to just take that into the edit and crank it out easily. And that opened my eyes to really, even if it isn't the full shot list and know exactly, but the more time you spend prior to it, the easier the whole process is, and the less, and that's what I learned. And it's funny because I was typing up the flea treatment for the video just so we have something to send him. And Logan said, is this something you think we could get somebody like outsourced to write the treatments? And I was like, nah, I don't think so because it took me like 2 hours to write the treatment. And he was like, this is 2 hours someone else could do, but we need to do that because it's identifying this. Putting that 2 hours prior is going to infinitely save more time.
Also, we don't have somebody that we could trust to even
that's what I had to explain.
See our vision in the way that we see
to
it.
articulate, because it's not something, I get how if you're just looking at it, it's like, oh, it's just finding reference shots and putting them on a thing. In theory, formatting the treatment, if you gave them all the reference shots and everything, that somebody could do. But that coming up with that is the creative side, because that is replacing being on set, being like, oh, let's move the light and like doing all that prior.
Just know exactly where. I mean, it was like with the NDOT shoot. Like the NDOT shoot went super smooth.
Yeah.
We knew the night before exactly what we were gonna do, and even with the hunter shoot, like what was that, like a week and a half before with the gimbal, you could put the clip of me dropping my gimbal like right here because Corey got that on video.
Yeah, I mean, it won't be out because this is dropping. If you're watching this the day it drops, we're filming this 2 days prior. So it's not out yet, but once the music video is out, the behind the scenes will be out, and that'll be in the behind the scenes.
Okay.
The day of us setting it up, the gimbal, trying to commit that, bro. I can't I hope I can articulate this, but the gimbal is rigged up for the audio listeners. I'm sorry, but the gimbal was rigged up on a C-stand upside down so the camera could spin, and I don't know if it was loose or what, but the gimbal the handle spun and basically unscrewed itself and then just dropped. Luckily, you were standing underneath it to catch
caught
it.
That, John. It was a violent spin too. It was not happy. I think what happened was, and again, I know this is what happened because it obviously never happened again after we did it like that. When I turned it on while it was on the C-stand, whatever robot in the robot mind that it has to do to be like stable, it couldn't do that. So as soon as it was upside down, it was like, what the is going on? I need to unspin myself, get the out of here.
Yeah, and it did.
Yeah, then it just freaked out. Robots, man.
Hey, man. At least we got it on camera, so that'll be in the vlog for sure. But I mean, no, I went the day of the shoot, everything went super smooth, and it's like that shot alone, like the overhead spinning shot, is probably one of my favorite shots WaveChange as a whole has gotten, because that's
so cool.
You could have just put that one shot as the music video, and that would have been better than most of the stuff because
it's funny. And shout out to Adam. I had a family friend, Adam Girth. He's in the film field as well, and he came and shot the behind the scenes, and he was excited. Hopefully, he comes around for a couple more shoots.
Yeah,
Get him involved.
He was dope. His energy was dope. He was cool. He definitely seemed like he was helping out. I wasn't there in the room the full time, but no, yeah, definitely. Man, just getting creative people who want to have fun and do cool things, because cool things going on.
Oh yeah, I forget. I saw something. It was about like how short life is and how you need to, like, the actual perception of time is changed by what you're doing on a daily basis. And for us, it's like, I mean, for me, especially in this year, like, time has felt especially slow. I feel like because every single day, everything is different.
Yeah.
And I feel like we're never going to run into that. It's kind of a weird transition to talk about, but like, we're never going to run into that because we're always constantly shifting something every single week.
Yeah, that is what I really enjoy about the field we're in, that it's not like, yeah, we do music videos or we do videos, but it's every day is something, it's always different, and I've noticed it makes the days feel long. Even just randomly coming in today, I had this content shoot, I was coming in today, and I left here at like 1 a.m. last night, but it just, the day, like I was coming in, I was like, damn, I feel like I haven't been here in forever. But it's just, it's like every day is so different in the days. And then when we'll talk about something that happened like 2 days ago, and it's like, damn, I feel like that happened like.
The green light video feels like it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, you said like 9 days, and I was like, damn, that literally feels like it was like a month ago, and it's already, because things are just happening so quickly. And it is interesting because it feels like it's so quick, but at the same time, it feels like, I feel like we've been in this building doing for like
so long.
Years.
Yeah.
And it's been like 5 months, and it feels like we've been here like.
I look at the March timestamp of that first video I took here, and I'm just like, what? Like, it has not been that long, and we've made a lot of progress already.
No, I mean, especially with the vlogs too, because the vlogs are rolling out on a delay.
Mm-hmm.
Like the vlogs dropping right now are from us building the studio, like the first couple weeks.
It's crazy.
And it's watching that and being like, damn, like this feels like it was years ago, or like.
Oh, dude. Literally, what was it? That was like the end of March. I could look at the timestamp right now. Let me see.
Yeah, I think it was like the end of March-ish. We like
April,
came
May,
in.
June, July, August. Yeah, 5 months. It actually hasn't even been half a year. That's crazy.
Yeah, it hasn't. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, and it's interesting to see because it just every day it feels more like this is normal, but like somebody it was Chico, or I think Chico's boy last night when you guys stopped in the studio and they were like, I like to sit like I like the schedule something on it every single day, and like when you look at the monthly board in the office, it's like, damn, there really is like most days there's something going on every single day. And yeah, I don't know, it's interesting to see, because I can remember a couple years ago when there was another period where it was like I was doing stuff every day, but it just felt different, that it was like stressful. It was like, not even stuff I didn't necessarily want to do, but it just wasn't the same where, like, as busy as it is, I'm excited. Like, when I look at the board and it's like, damn, there's three things that overlap, and it's like, we got to figure this, like.
I feel like before it was just because, like, it was just, for the most part, before it was you kind of just, like, trying to figure out the same way I was just kind of trying to figure it out, and now we actually have, like, trajectory, structure, like we have somebody that's running the business now, like all those things that we were constantly like, fuck, this is gonna happen, like what am I gonna do about blah, blah, blah. It's like all those things are kind of answered now, so I feel like all those voices in our heads are just kind of shush for the moment.
Yeah, it really does feel like it's just about executing the things, because as things come in, it's not just like things coming in, but a video comes in, it's like, all right, we know how it affect, like, all right, it's either this is the budget or it's with this client and we're going to use this, and it everything, no matter what it is, the film in the pockets, anything feels like it's a step.
Yeah.
It doesn't just feel like we're doing things trying to get something to work or make something.
And I feel like every time we've shot in this building, we've gotten better at something. Like every single time.
I don't
like
think
whether it be set design, lighting, something with the camera, something with the lens, something with a camera technique, and that alone is just gonna. That's just crazy.
I feel like every project, it's been growth, every project, whatever it is. And it, like, each one with unintentionally almost had its like thing to focus on. Like NDOT was the first in studio, multiple sets planned out. The Hunter was a great one just to utilize the infinity wall, where you focused really on the lighting and the camera work.
Same with the Chico one before that too.
Yeah, I feel like each thing is getting its own, like, and we're gaining like little bit of skills and knowledge each one, and it's not just producing products, but each one feels and they all feel individual. Like the Chico one has its own vibe, but it's in theory it's the same location and
it's the
just different
video,
lighting and shot different than the Hunter
like
video.
The same exact video.
They have the complete different vibes, and yeah, it's been cool to really. I mean, yeah, just we've produced so much in the 5 months we've been here, and they all feel so different, and
it's crazy.
That
Bavo video just dropped today too.
Oh, which one?
The Bavo video.
Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Oh shit. Okay, dope. That's another one out right now. But yeah, it's been really fun, and each project has felt like it's grown, and we've gotten better each project, and it's just crazy to as they keep coming in, it just keeps getting better, and it's just
it's exciting, dude. Very exciting stuff going on here.
Yeah, I've been really, and especially leaning more into the treatments. I'm excited to push, just to start pushing more. Like the Nick Wallace one I wrote is the first treatment I wrote that's going to require like actors or extras to be in it, or like I haven't fully wrote it yet, but coming up with, and start pushing out and doing more. And it's cool to do more and not like for the artist, like in theory, like the Hunter video, that's a way doper video than the first Hunter video I did, the Victoria video. But to him, it was the same. We don't have to, we're able to do bigger things and hopefully not raise price by much. Like the videos are 700. They were 700 before we had this space. I was charging 700, and you're getting an infinitely better video now. And we're able to keep the cost the same and do more for artists because we have the space. And it's been really dope. I guess to kind of pivot, we could pivot over to me learning Unreal, because that's a whole new, like, once I really get the grasp of that unlocks, because I was talking to Leland about it, my brother about it, it unlocks not just elevating the CGI, where I'm fascinated on the aspect of like building a game and learning those mechanics, but doing the real-time green screen replacement. Yeah. That's going to be crazy. Unlocking that, well, that's a whole new avenue that like is untouched, especially in the people like in our field around us at this caliber. Yeah. Nobody's doing real-time green screen replacement, real-time renders, and
it also allows us to play with lighting and like.
That's what I was excited for, because at least build the rough CGI, and then we can get the artist in front of the camera and be like, nah, we need a red light on them here, and we can really unlock the aspect of the music videos that you're elevating for us that we're filming in the CGI, where we can really play with lighting and shots because we have the real time green screen replacement. And yeah, so that's been a whole. I mean, I just literally just started learning Unreal last night. It's similar because I've been doing Blender and like 3D stuff for a long time, but learning the mechanics of like Unreal, learning that, and then being able to, if we do something green screen or CGI, literally turn that world into a video game. Like you go walk around and play a video game, or like play a game inside of the world of the music videos. And the long-term project I've started creating last night to kind of use it as a tool to learn Unreal is I would love to build some sort of survival-esque game where it's just waves of enemies, but the locations are things that were built in these music videos and the CGI stuff, and it's like, oh shit, this is the room from that video, or this is the object that was in this video, and it's like this WaveChange game that is just a random game.
Yeah, it's like a museum almost.
You
can just walk
that
through
you get
and be
to
like, oh,
play and do stuff in. Like that, I think that would be so cool because I like the idea of like the WaveChange museum of like the props and outfits that we're using in these videos. But then the CGI stuff never gets to be in that. But the video game gets to be the version of the digital museum of all the assets and WaveChange things. And
I like that.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. But that's gonna be it's a hurdle to learn. But I'm excited the way everything's working out. Where it's the first, like I said, projects are coming in, but I'm not sitting on them. They're scheduled. Things are getting done, and I now have free time. And instead of using the free time to do whatever else, use that. I now have free time to learn a whole nother skill, learn this other thing that we can then elevate. And in a year, imagine what we're going to be creating in a year after I fully understand the using Unreal and getting to utilize it.
Crazy.
It's just like, not Pokemon, but like collecting all these skills and things, because erasing the barriers to our ideas. The more things we know how to do, the more it's like, if we have a crazy idea, oh yeah, we could just do it XYZ, do it this way.
That's a great way to say it.
But that's how I see it, and I think that's a good point to any artist, not just in video, but creating systems in like whatever it is. We'll use us as an example, the videos. It started with me making music videos, and all my time was booking videos, shooting videos, editing videos, talking to artists, all that, and then create a system where now there's a system to talk to artists and schedule. So that eliminates my free time. Now I have more time to edit. And then we have more people to shoot and edit. So now that eliminates time. And now things are getting done, but I have more free time. And as you create free time, you put it back, reinvest it the same way. If we got more money, we're going to reinvest the money and buy more gear. Yeah. If I can unlock more free time, learn another skill that we can implement in, because it's just going to snowball and snowball. And in 10 years, it's like all this capability and knowledge that you, or again, using us as an example, WaveChange can now do. And it's the same thing with the artists. Create a system where you can, studio time, whether you're recording yourself at home to save money and save some time, and then you have more time to maybe learn another skill that you can use or learn something else. And
I really like what you said about the barriers, though, because I felt that way with the camera. It's like they don't let the thing you're supposed to be using to create your art work against you, in the sense, especially for artists. Like if you want to get a song produced, but you don't want to spend the money getting your song produced, learn how to produce a song. Then you don't have to go to the studio every time and get your song recorded. The same way with my camera. I haven't understood cameras that well until recently, and now my videos are starting to look better.
Yeah, and now if you have an idea, you're able to facilitate the idea better, and it's a snowball thing. It's not, like, it's an investment with, like you said, the time. Like, learn to produce if you don't want to spend the money or don't want to, or I know some artists who just can't find good producers or find beats that are the sound they want. Mm-hmm. So maybe you spend 6 months or whatever spending time to learn that skill, and some people might look at that like, oh, I don't want to spend a year learning this thing. Well, you're just probably going to spend the next year struggling to find the beats anyway.
Yeah.
But if you invested that time, in a year, you now for the rest of your life don't have this barrier, and that's a lot of people run into. There's a lot of barriers being an artist to get your ideas out, and the more you can eliminate barriers, the more freeing it is and easier it is to create your ideas.
I feel like there's not a lot of, like, there's a caliber of famousness, but I feel like the most famous artists that we know of, very few of them don't know how, like, they all know how to produce music. I feel like MGK is a good example. Like he definitely knows how to produce music.
Yeah.
Like
Even
anyone on like that caliber of fame, like I feel like knows how to at least at the bare minimum record themselves and hear something that they like.
Yeah, because it's just, and even if it's not, you're not recording your final recording and you're not doing your final mix and mastering, but just even if it is just getting your idea out so then you can relay it to somebody who can, a better producer who can then come in and really make it the quality it needs to be, but just getting the ideas out is more important. And yeah, like you said, eliminate the barriers so you can record yourself. So if you're an artist, it's 1 a.m. and you got this dope idea for a song, you don't have to sit on it and either lose that idea or it changed from the initial idea. You can just record it yourself, even if it's a rough recording, so you have the idea and then you can grow on it and build it. Because like you said, I think everyone at a certain caliber in any field, they probably have an understanding on how to get the idea out. They might not be able to make it the perfect. You might not have that skill set, but getting your ideas out is the most important because that's the only thing that really separates all the artists are the ideas, and because there's way better people and there's infinite amount of people who can get a good camera and film good videos, but what makes it different is your idea because nobody can take your idea out. They'll have their own idea and it could be just as good or it can be a good idea also, but what makes you unique is your idea, and there's no better or worse ideas than any. Ideas are just there. It's just then executing them. That was kind of like a really all over the place tangent. But yeah, eliminate barriers to your ideas because the more streamlined it is to I have an idea and now it exists, the better, and it sparks more ideas, and that is like
It also allows you to be more creative with your process. Like once you understand everything, you can then take risks. That's how I really like. What I'm really starting to realize is understanding you have to understand something fundamentally to be not creative. Obviously, you can be creative with anything, but like to really go and make something crazy. I feel like, and what's it called? The comparison I like to use is basketball because I was talking to my friend about this the other day. I was like, I was good enough fundamentally at basketball to the point where I could start doing crazy shit in games. And it's the same thing now with cameras. Like I fully understand shutter speed, ISO, f-stop, all this stuff to the point where I can be like, I see this in a video, I know how I can get that and then do my own thing with it.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly, yeah. Like another just example would be like painting.
Yeah.
If you had a great idea for this beautiful sunset mural, but you don't know how to paint, like you can have the dopest idea, but if you don't know the fundamentals of how to mix paint and make it blend the way you want, like you might be able to get a painting of a sunset done, but it might not be. The more you understand the fundamentals of the thing, the more it's like you can get the thing that's in your head completely created exactly how you see it. Like, like the more you understand it, the more you understand the shutter speed. So f-stop, you can. The shutter speed needs to be lower so it can get the exact thing. And the more you learn, and that also just comes with like the 10,000 hours and just putting the reps in of doing it. The more you produce, the more you paint, the more you shoot videos, you learn the fundamentals to then, I have this idea and I see it this way. Oh, it needs to be this kind of paint mixed this way, and the same thing with videos. It needs to be shot this way at this f-stop, and producing and writing songs, and that's also why I talked about it, I think, on the episode where it was just me, on episode 13, where it's just I'm big on, if you're an artist, creating things and releasing and growing in the public eye versus keeping this thing to yourself and trying to make it perfect before releasing it, because the more reps you put in, the more you're learning the fundamentals to make the next thing better. And you might have this perfect idea for this dope thing and you do it and you're like, damn, I could have did it better this way. But take that energy and make the next thing better versus going back to this thing and revising it and making it better and being stuck on one idea, versus you have an idea, execute it to the best of your abilities, set a deadline, whatever it is, whether it's time or however you set your deadline, and then look at it and be like, this is what it is. And then, okay, this could have been done better if I did this, and you'll learn things from it.
Yeah.
And then on the next project, you implement the next things, and you just indefinitely do that, because that's what I see, at least for me as an artist. It's forever pursuit of just creating ideas, not like working on this one masterpiece that has to be perfect to define who I am. And I think a lot of artists I know get stuck on this song or this project needs to define me as a full artist perfectly. It's like just create this stuff. It'll define you at this time period, and then set a deadline in your however it is for yourself, and then look at the piece of art and what could be better, and then make the next thing. Because if you're looking at like this thing is perfect and it's done, I created this thing, now I'm good. That's not true artistry to me. To me, being artist is I have ideas that need to get facilitated, and I can't get stuck on one idea and fixated on one, because you'll grow a lot slower than just creating a lot of things and learning and looking at the work and then going back and next project. And
I feel like most people have that. I mean, I used to do that a lot with just music videos. I'd be like, this is gonna be the one. This is gonna be like everyone's just gonna hit me up after this one. It's like, bro, what kind of thought process even is that? Like, it's in your brain to trick yourself that something like that could even happen. Like, just like this is the one. Like, any of them could be the one. It's just keep making them.
And it's also that you put a lot of pressure that you have no control over. You could have done everything perfect, but it just might not have been the right time.
Exactly.
And like there's a lot, like you could make the perfect song, but if it's not rolled out right, or it's not the right time, or society is not in the right place, like it just might not hit. And those are things that are out of your control. So you got to keep coming back and just doing more. I
was gonna make a greater point with the technicalities of understanding art and fundamentals, is I think that's the separation between the greatest artists in the world and the people who don't make it, is the people that, I mean, we've talked about it before too, like how much work you put in, but also how much work you put into really understanding your craft, and then taking those understandings and putting them into your own art is the true difference maker, and what someone who's famous for their art and someone who's trying to be famous for their art.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, damn, I just completely, here we go. The thought just left. I just watched it leave.
Gone. Big cut right here.
I'm going to say, I had a good point.
Quick Zen break here. Let me go grab my Zen.
Let me think where I wanted to pivot that to. Let me get that thought back. I got the point back, so we'll jump right back into it before Steve will join back in. But I want to go back on the eliminating barriers to your ideas topic, because that is a big thing I think that sets people back, is the fixation on, they'll have an idea and they might see it a specific way and feel like it needs to be that way, and if it's not that way, it's not perfect. And there's liberty to making your idea like how you see it. You want to facilitate it to being the way that you see it, but sometimes there's certain limitations on, like, if we had a dope idea for a video with a person floating through space and aliens flying past them, we might not be able to fully facilitate rigging somebody up on wires on a green screen with a robot arm that can be programmed movements, like the perfect way that idea would be created. We might not have the resources for right now, but that's where you have to take a liberty on, all right, this is the idea. What can I facilitate? If you're an artist and you had a music video idea, or an idea for a show or something, like a performance, and you don't have the resources right now to facilitate something, some ideas are better for the future. They might be, this idea needs to be executed where I can be on wires floating over the crowd. Doing any other way wouldn't do it justice. So that might be a future idea. But you need to take liberty, I think, on some of your ideas where there's flexibility, where I know I want a music video on a football field, like a football theme, and I got my point back, so I just started on it. But it was going off of eliminating barriers into your ideas. So eliminating barriers to your ideas. You need to take liberty on your ideas, I think, where there's depending on the ideas, if some ideas, if you see something, it's not like how you see it, you should stick to it, and I see it this way. But based on the resources you have, you might have to be flexible with your ideas somehow. I was using the analogy, like if you had an idea for a video where I want the person flying through space and spaceships, I might see the vision, and the right way to do it might be having somebody rigged on wires on a green screen with like a robot arm.
Yeah.
And we don't have the resources for that. So you got to be flexible enough to, all right, these are the resources we have to bring the idea to life. Because the more, especially when there isn't resources, when you're a starting artist and you don't have resources, you can't stop your ideas because they can't be facilitated the perfect way. You might not have any money for a budget to rent extras, so don't come up with concepts that take 10 people to do the video. It's like, yeah, you'd love to do videos with 100 people behind you, but if you can't facilitate that, don't stop your artistry or put a break on your career because you can't facilitate that.
That's huge.
Yeah, bring your, like, you got to just roll with what you have. If you only have your iPhone, figure out ways to start creating content or creating stuff or do videos that you can get with liberty. You can get your idea out enough with what you have and then let it build. As you get more resources, you can do better and bigger things and bring the ideas more specifically to what you want, but not being super attached onto either how you execute an idea or kind of the final like look of the idea. I think it's like a scale of the less like resources you have available, the more I think you can, the less resources you have available, the more flexibility you have to have on how the final is gonna turn out. With, if the idea was in space, it might not look exactly the vision you had in your head if you don't have the resources, but the more resources you get, the more you can exactly facilitate your idea.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we've been doing here with the studio and learning the skill sets and getting more equipment. Our ideas are getting closer to what we see in our heads, and that just comes with 6 years. When I started making music videos, the music video is what it was. We have this room, this light, and a camera. Make the ideas out of what you have, and then it snowballs. Now we have gimbals and extra people, and now we can do things where I need a person to be moving this light while somebody else is doing this, and your ideas can snowball. But just don't, you got to eliminate the barriers. Look at the barriers you have and create with what you have, because that's all you have. And if you're waiting for things to be perfect or to have the perfect things or I need $10,000 to do this concept for this thing or to do this show, or if you don't have it, don't not do something because you don't have the tools.
Yeah.
I think that's like the pinnacle of like, have your ideas, assess what resources you have at your disposal, and then what is the area between that, and then gain more resources, and you could bring your ideas more to life. But I think getting stuff out there is more important than trying to get it to be perfect. If you're not releasing for 3 years because you're trying to make it perfect, I don't know, to me, like, especially nowadays with how social media is, things happen so quick that you need to just get ideas out there and make them better in front of people. You might put an idea out there and you might get comments back, this is trash. It's like, take that. What about that are they saying? Oh, it looks trash, or this is bad. And like, all right, on the next one, take those notes and make the next thing better and just snowball it. Like, don't focus on making everything that I release as this artist is perfect. Everything WaveChange has released isn't perfect, but every time it gets better from the last thing. We're only ever looking at this last video we made, better than that one. And you do that indefinitely, and now after years of doing that, you're making great stuff because every step all right, we did this could have been better on this shoot. Next shoot, that problem's not there. And then after 10 years or however long, all of the problems are being eliminated one by one.
Yeah. That's the truth right there.
Kind of what we were going back to, setting deadlines with this, not having barriers. And you were saying when you started music videos, you're feeling like this one's going to be the one. I think being service providers helps us in the sense of like, there is deadlines. When you're doing a passion project, you get to pick the deadline and it can indefinitely just go on. But being a service provider has definitely helped me to, as much as I want to make this perfect and spend however long, it's like this song's coming out on this time, this video needs to be done. So there is forced deadlines. So as an artist on your own, it's probably like you don't have those deadlines if you don't set them for yourself. So having some sort of deadline, I think, helps the growth, because having a finished product so you can look at it and then critique so you know what to make better for the next thing. is like huge in just the growth and over time. Just the same way. If you go to the gym more, if you only go to the gym once a week, you don't do much. But if you go to the gym every day, you go to the gym, and you go, oh, I did this, and you're building on it, and oh, if I change my squat slightly this way, and then you do it better, and then you're at the gym, and somebody's like, yo, you should try doing bench, try it this way, and you learn something else, and you learn more by doing it. You're going to learn more about working out, being in the gym every day and doing it versus just thinking about it, oh, if I do the bench better this way and never doing it and not putting the actual reps in.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people believe that what they're doing is the end all be all, and you can always learn. You can learn at any point, even if you feel like you're a master at something. There's something you can learn.
I mean, even people who made like some of the biggest songs, they didn't just make that song, it went viral, and they were like, cool, I'm good. Like it's just like that's where having that mindset to me is like, it comes off to me like you're doing it for the notoriety or the like getting something out of the song more than just for doing it for creating the product.
Yeah, 100%.
The people who are gonna do who see it the way that we're describing, I feel like are the people who are doing it because they have this calling to create things versus just I'm trying to make this thing perfect because this is everyone's gonna think is cool, and then people are gonna think I'm cool for it, and they're gonna like me for this. Versus, I have this idea, this thing I got to create, and I want to make this perfect, and then I have this other idea. Yeah, because I know a lot of artists personally who are looking at like, I just got to make the perfect song because this shit's got to be viral. Because if I drop a whack song, it ruins everything. And in my opinion, I don't. If you drop a whack song, it's gonna be whack, and people might be like, "This is whack." But then the next song is a banger that people are gonna the way society, people are just gonna forget, and they're gonna be like, "This is a good song." Just create more things and release them.
Unless you're genuinely at a level where you have millions of listeners on a monthly basis, dropping a whack song does absolutely nothing to affect the trajectory of your career. That shit blows my mind.
Yeah.
Like no offense to any artists that are listening to this, but most people don't really care if you drop a song. Like that's just the truth. You have to make people really care about your music, and the only way to do that is to drop music consistently, truly, and make it authentic to what you want it to be. Or you could ride the trend too.
Yeah, but I mean that's so like that was a good point that nobody cares you're dropping music, and that sounds mean, but that's what it is. You got to make them care. So if it's whack, it's gonna sit there. You might have a couple people you went to high school with be like, oh, you made a whack song, you're whack, but like who cares about that? But if you make a whack song, it's gonna sit there and be nothing, and then just make the next one, and like nobody's gonna care until you make something good that they care about, and then they care. It's nobody really. Like you said, unless you are in a place where you have a fan base now, and then when you're starting out, until you have a real big fan base, it's nobody cares. You make whack stuff, so what? Go on to the next one. It's not delete the song. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean it's the same thing for the only reason I could say that so confidently is because it applies to us as well. Like I have plenty of trash music videos that I can look back on and be like, damn, that was trash. Did not pay any dividends to what I'm doing right now. Yeah, I just learned from that and saw like. I'll never make a video like that again. That's for sure. The same way an artist can look at a song and be like, wow, that was a terrible song. Like, I'll never make a song like that again. Yeah,
and unless you're consistently producing whack stuff, like, everything you're making is whack, it's like, if you make a bad video, like, when it's the last thing released, some people might go, oh, this video is whack, but if you, from doing it time and time again, you drop another one. One whack thing, a whack thing dropping here and there nobody's looking at, going through your catalog of videos, finding a wag video and going, oh yeah, I'm not working with you, look at this wag video. Because you have other stuff to show, and they might see something else and they go, oh, I like this, or I like this part. And like, if you only have one thing out and that's whack, that one thing affects your career. Yeah. But if you are dropping songs once a month and 4 of your songs, people are like, this is bad, but you have 100 songs out, you have infinitely more chances to... The more things you have out, the more it matters less of them being bad. But if you have 100 songs out and one of them is phenomenal, it matters just as much. But the bad stuff gets watered out, but the good stuff doesn't. Yeah. Which I find cool as an artist, because it's like you could drop a song every single day. They could all be trash, and one of the 365 songs you drop this year is good.
Just pops.
That's all that matters. Like all the other things, like it doesn't. The negative doesn't. Bad things I don't think negatively affect you. but good things will positively affect you. So it's like, why not just make more things?
Yeah.
Because there's not a limit on how many songs you can make. It's not like I only have 10 tries to make good songs. If I don't prove it in these 10 songs.
I feel like a lot of people put those like restrictions on themselves though.
Yeah, for I don't know why. Like I get why in the scheme of like, if you're looking from in like a high school like mindset of like the people are looking at, everyone's looking at me, and it's like in the grand scheme, bro, nobody cares. Like
Yeah,
nobody,
no one does.
until you make something good, nobody cares, and that's almost like a freeing feeling of like I could just
Yeah.
make things and release it, and people aren't gonna listen. They're not gonna listen. You just keep making stuff, and eventually you get things, and you make cool things, and one person likes this, and then 3 people like this song. Nobody likes this song, and you just do it, and it just snowballs. And yeah, you got to eliminate eliminate the barriers. Eliminate some of the barriers are in yourself, where you feel like it's got to be perfect or it's got to be something. The thing only has to be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
That was I like that.
Yeah.
I like the point.
I mean, I had a point. I just lost it. A lot of lost thoughts in this episode.
Right. But yeah, like that. I think that's a good like point for this episode of eliminating the barriers. Whatever, figure out what the barriers are. Whether they are monetary, whether I don't have money to go to the studio, or they're internal. Where you be real with yourself. Like, am I spending too much time trying to make everything perfect, or figure out my branding? I know artists who are not releasing stuff because they all need to fit. They feel like they need to fit into some branding that who are they as an artist? And it's like, if you don't know who you are as an artist, just make things. It's going to come out. I don't know who I was as an artist. I just had visions and made videos. And now if I look back, I have an artistic style, but I wouldn't have been able to curate the style. It just came from doing hundreds of videos. And now I have a skill set, and I know what I like when I'm doing stuff. And the best way to figure out your branding as an artist is just from creating stuff and what do you enjoy. And you make a song and you're like, I really liked this kind of song, or I really didn't have fun making this kind of thing, and make more of the things you like. And the branding of who you are as an artist. Some people, you might initially start off and you're like, I know exactly, I want to speak to this kind of people and make this kind of sound. And some people just like, I enjoy making things and I don't know who I'm speaking to, but I had this idea for this thing and I'm just going to make it, and it comes naturally. Who you are as an artist just builds naturally. Don't put so much pressure on yourself. Just, if you have an idea, make it with whatever resources you have. If you only have iPhone headphones in your bedroom, but you have an idea for a dope song, make that shit. Because like, look at X. X recorded his first songs on literal Apple fucking like headphones, and then just getting ideas out. Because people infinitely resonate more with the ideas behind the things than how perfect the thing is. There's shitty quality recorded songs that I love because I resonate with what they're saying and the emotions behind it. And then there's songs recorded in $1 million studios that are mixed perfectly, and I listen to it and I'm like, wow, sonically this sounds great, but I'm never going to listen to this again because I don't resonate with it. The emotions and the ideas is what's going to have people attached to your art and you. That's the core thing that people are attached to, is the emotions and the ideas, not how, like, if your video's shot on a red camera in 8K perfect quality, that's dope, it looks good, and yeah, it gives off the vibe of like, oh, this person's established, and it gives you more professional feel, but I'm not getting attached to an artist because all their videos look like movies. There's people who drop music videos that are just them performing in a mic in front of a camera, and I'm infinitely more attached to that because of the real emotions and ideas behind it.
Going back to your point about branding, I think having an understanding of your branding is a really good thing, but if you're allowing that idea of your branding to stop you from posting or creating, then it's not a good thing. Because if you know exactly what audience you want to like not pander, it's not really the right word, but pander to, you're going to be a lot more effective than somebody who's just kind of, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do R&B, and then I'm going to do rap, and then I'm going to do this crazy shit. Like, I'm going to do some drill shit. You infinitely have a better trajectory of getting customers and clients and fans if you know exactly who you're trying to hit. But again, if you're allowing that idea of what you want yourself to be to not move your career or do anything with it, then it's just negative.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's like, and that's just something you have to assess. I think that's a great point on. Yeah, knowing your branding, knowing the branding is how you take it to the next step.
Yeah.
But if you're not at there, if you don't know the branding, you can't hold on to like that you can't have that problem of like the branding as what's stopping you, because you need to just start like that's a hurdle you jump once you know the branding. If you don't know it, you got to get to that point first from just creating things, because like you said, branding is inevitably how you like secure who you are and lock down and people know you. But if you don't have the branding and it's not something that's not a negative, it's like, but start creating stuff so you figure out the branding and then you can grow on that.
Exactly. That's the whole point, is just like actually trying to figure out that part. Like if you know, like for example, like if you want to be like a destroy lonely character, just dress like that and post shit like that and start trying to figure out like you're not going to post and immediately your page isn't just going to look like Destroy Lonely's page. You're not going to have all his followers, but you can try and you can see what works for him and what doesn't work for you, and you can go off of that.
Yeah, and I think just from creating the art and doing it, you'll find. And what's big on the branding, I think, is being authentic to who you are as a person. It's like we could sit here and be like, I think Law is a good example because she has strong branding.
Super strong branding.
Ladies always win. And it would be easy to sit here with a female artist and be like, you should be like, you're for the women, this and that. But if that doesn't resonate for you, like you could inauthentically just put on this branding. But the whole point of, I think, finding the branding is something that speaks to you, because this is the branding of the artistry forever. So it's like if you're not authentically, like you said, if somebody looked at Destroy Lonely and I'm not like a fan of Destroy, like that
I'm
branding.
not either. That was just a
yeah, but I think it's a good example. If I looked at that and was like, this is cool, I'm just gonna do that, and that's not authentic to me. If we commit to that's the branding, and now we spend 3 years building this, and that's not authentic to me, you're gonna start not enjoying doing it.
Yeah.
So if a Drake branding is commercially sells more, but that's not who you are, you have to accept that like that's not who I am. That's not the lane. I might never be a Drake, but a strong branding in whatever field, you can get to whatever heights you want.
Yeah, that's a great way to put it.
Into the branding that fits you, because like
it's kind of like the sellout argument. Like you could quote unquote either sell out and like placate your personality to what the industry is asking for at the moment, or you could tough it out and build your own individuality and see if that gets you somewhere.
Yeah, and it might not be a Drake where you're Drake, but not being at the number one spot, being maybe in the top 10, but doing it in purely authentic to yourself and what makes you happy, to me seems like a way better life than being at the top and having to do everything to stay at the top in a place that you're not like being something you're not happy in, because I feel like that doesn't lead to longevity, because inevitably once you're at the Drake spot and you're not happy and you have money, you're comfortable, you're not going to do it as much and you're not going to care about it, and you're not, so you got to know, like you got to have branding from the brand or the artist, whatever you are, but it has to be authentic to you. And if you don't know it, don't be something that's not authentic to you. Spend the time to figure out what the branding is, because that's going to pay off, because once you know it, it's so much easier to then elevate everything, but you need to know the brand and it needs to be authentic to you, because just picking something that you think works that isn't authentic to you might work initially, but come 5 years, 10 years of doing something you're not happy with, you're right back into working a job you're not happy at. It's like, a job wherever, like we use Amazon a lot. Amazon pays well, you'll have benefits, but on paper, I have benefits, my bills are paid, but I'm not happy doing what I'm doing every day. It's the same thing. It's easy to go, but like I'm Drake, what do I care? I got millions of dollars. Like, but when you're actually living that lifestyle and you're like, this is my life for the rest of my life, and you're not happy, I guarantee you it's going to cause issues. So going all that back to build your branding on, build who you are, be authentic to what is real to you. What do you enjoy? What makes you happy doing every day? What style is it?
Yeah. That was a nice little tangent right there, too.
Yeah, I think that's just at an hour. I think that was a pretty good episode. Pretty packed full. It's kind of, let me see, what was the...
Barriers,
eliminating
artistry.
barriers.
Yeah, eliminate barriers in your art.
Figure out what your barriers are. Are they monetary? Is it your situation? Do you have kids and a job? Do you not have time? Is it money, time? Is it resources? Is it your own internal mentality? Am I spending too much fixation on what my branding is and not creating the art? Because you might think your branding is one thing and then you spend a month just purely creating songs you want to make and you realize this does not fit the branding that I thought was what I wanted. But yeah, figure out what your barriers are and then one by one eliminate them. If you look at your barriers and you go, I have no money, no time, nothing, that's a lot of barriers and it might be overwhelming to be like, how do I eliminate all these barriers? But just pick one. If you're making music, the first barrier is just creating songs. If you don't know, I don't have a way to release music, I don't have money, I don't have anything. First thing is releasing songs. How can I get 30 minutes or an hour a day that I can go on my voice memos on my phone with a YouTube beat and just write stuff? One barrier. All right, boom. So I can do this. Well, now I need to get the song actually recorded. Go buy a mic from Best Buy for $50 and a laptop that you have or a friend's laptop.
You can record on your phone nowadays, straight to your phone.
Like, figure out your barriers and then almost put them in a tier list of like, figuring out your branding isn't important if you're not able to record music. Figure out the barriers and eliminate them one at a time. And I feel like a lot of people rush to, I got to eliminate all these barriers so it's perfect. And then you spend indefinitely trying to overcome them. But if you one by one, this week, I'm just going to figure out how I can get songs recorded. All right, I got my iPhone, I got voice memos, and then one barrier at a time, step by step. And then inevitably you'll be at a place where you'll look back and you're like, wow, I can just facilitate my ideas. And yeah, don't look at this big daunting thing of like all these barriers and this is going to take me 5 years to eliminate all these barriers and I don't want to wait 5 years. But by you just sitting in this place you are now, you're going to be 5 years are going to pass. And if you didn't invest the time to eliminate your barriers day and week, the barriers are still going to be there in 5 years. Or you could spend 5 years or a year or however long eliminating the barriers. So then eventually you won't have barriers and you'll just be able to create things. And the people who look at that and go, oh, that's like, I don't want to wait 5 years. Like I said, the time's going to pass anyway. And those are the people who are now saw this 5 years ago and are now able to do it. And people who didn't are still in the same place of like still trying to get everything perfect to roll it out. But yeah, don't start today. Take this as your sign to, I'm going to just start recording voice memos on my phone, freestyles on my phone, and just start today because we're going to check back in 5 years and who invested the time.
Oh, yeah.
Dope. Well, this was a good episode. Thank you for tuning in every Monday. Make sure you subscribe and turn the notifications on because I am now randomly dropping episodes. Last week I dropped a random like 45-minute episode. So turn the notifications on so you know when other episodes are dropping. Follow the social medias at Cat Talk I'm Creating on Instagram and TikTok. Follow our personal pages. Everything, the pop-ups were here. Everything is in the description. Go to the website, wavechange.net. That is like the hub, the network where you could see everything. The music videos, the vlogs, the podcasts. If you want to see everything all in one place, wavechange.net. It's all there. Follow our personals. Come back every Monday. Peace.
Peace out.